Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, June 7, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We have a time for change call tonight at around 9 p.m. Eastern. Whatever the conscious mind thinks and believes, the subconscious identically creates. So we talked about the fact that the subconscious is a recording studio. So it records everything. Things that you really aren't paying any attention to, it records everything. And then it randomly plays it back. And there's where the thoughts come in, say. And then the ego expands on those thoughts. And so when they come in, they're just thoughts, of course. But when they come in, and then if you embrace them and give them energy, then you create them into reality, and then you experience them. This is why we have so much confusion with folks saying, they say that I didn't manifest it, I didn't put that. Well, I don't know where it came from. So there's a way of living your life that's so conscious and so purely intentional and alive that you are guaranteed to manifest the life you desire. It happens when you understand and practice the basic manifestation principles of this universe. The first is that your thoughts create your reality in every moment, and that you are pure consciousness behind each thought you may choose or do not choose to entertain. A lot of the times, we entertain thoughts that we're not really aware of. And the interesting thing is this revolutionary empowering consciousness is already here now. When you stop all efforting, scheming, and trying to find it or create it, you instantly see the simple fact that it is here right now. If you want to become richer, more lovable, successful, and even more conscious, that is all fine and dandy. Just know that these are ideas and not the potent, powerful essence of who you are. Consciousness instantly reveals itself when you realize that you are not this mind or its desires. The pure state of consciousness is unfolding your version of reality for you to enjoy, as you decide to perceive it in each moment all around you. It loves you that much. So just surrender to it. Investigate this pure consciousness that's here now, and how there is nothing you can do to change it. The reason life can be so challenging is because of one main obstacle. You get over-identified with the mind and certain thoughts that it becomes attached to or avoids. The mind can get hooked like Velcro to certain roles, ideas, feelings, memories, and experiences that make you feel trapped. It's like a spider caught in its own web. The more it struggles, the more wrapped up and stuck it gets. The only way out of this mind trap is to surrender to the source of who you are. Now, a lot of times, people believe that the source, the God, the Spirit, God is one description, right? Label. And the other is pure consciousness. And this journey that we're on, endless journey, we all will eventually go within and stay within, and then we will discover that we are pure consciousness and not the body, that we're the God. And it's true, the more we struggle, the more wrapped up and stuck it gets. The only way out of this mind trap is to surrender to the source of who you are. Surrender to the God, the pure consciousness. Give in. You just let go. Now, one of the greatest discoveries to untangling yourself and spinning a new web around you is in exploring the truth of what and who you really are. If you just practice using the mind to free the mind from all the thoughts it's been wrapped up in and attached to, you just get more mental activity. Instead of playing the game of the mind, start disarming it. Let the mind weave the web it wants to weave, yet choose to focus on the light and consciousness within. This is the most enlightening and empowering place to be, and will greatly increase your manifesting vibration. You will become a super manifesting magnet for what you want. So be wise about choosing what you want. The experiences that you'll attract to you can only bring you into a more enlightened perspective when you abide in the knowing that consciousness is natural, effortless, and the essential eternal state of what and who you already are. Be curious about this consciousness. If you think that you know it, let that thought go. It's just a thought and not actually pure consciousness itself. Drop all ideas about who you truly are and liberate yourself completely. This consciousness is truly unknowable, cannot be pinned down as something that you understand once and are forever done with it. It is as infinite as this universe, and is here for you to explore throughout your entire lifetime. Your job is to gently unfold it and discover this dynamic divine being that you already are. This consciousness is the God source, and it is everywhere. The secret to discovering it is in being vulnerable, open, and receptive to this moment. Be honest with yourself about what your experience is, and then let the experience go. If resistance is there, become that wall and let it go. Explore every experience that arises until it is finished. Your life will become more rich and juicy and full of aliveness. Consciousness is not cold, hard, or rigid by any means. It contains a sacred warmth that you'll only find in the heart of it. This love is the love of your essence. It is already inside your heart, right here and now. Just surrender to what is true and real. Take 20 minutes every morning this week to become completely still, silent, and relax into this pure consciousness. This may be the hardest or easiest thing that you've ever explored. So if you first don't find it, just relax deeper. It is already always here now. All it takes is total surrender to what is, so you enjoy the ride. Everything around us, everything, is an illusion. There isn't anything really outside of us that isn't an illusion. And you can see how powerful we are as beings in these bodies and how we fabricate, how we put things together, how we create. When you find the center of anything, you'll find deep, profound peace. Now, some of us, when we meditate, we believe we're supposed to hear something, right? We're supposed to see something. Something is supposed to happen. And actually, meditation is being at peace and silent. If you look for something, and you keep looking for something, or you may feel empty, right? It's the ego mind. It's the judgment of everything outside of you. You judge. You begin to judge. And when you judge things, you become more immersed in the confusion. Because you're actually judging yourself. No matter what it is, you're judging yourself. So isn't it interesting? You go into meditation and you begin judging something. It could be actually the meditation itself, that you start judging it. You know? And you say, well, why do I feel so empty? Because you're in the ego mind. If you were in true meditation, you would not feel empty at all. You'd be curious about things, but you wouldn't be empty. The emptiness is caused by the ego mind. We believe that we're supposed to be filled with things. That's the ego mind as well. When everything that we've ever desired is within us. Period. And being aware of that. Many times we are not aware. And we have these minds. The minds are an illusion, right? And the mind creates the ego to assist it, which is also an illusion. It's like a storm of energy and information spewing out all kinds of stuff, thoughts and ideas about this world. It can make the world around you seem chaotic, exciting, boring, or way too much to handle. The mind's kind of like an overused machine that never gets a break and is always very, very, very busy. All day long, it's spinning around its thoughts, chattering 1,000 miles an hour about this and that. It's as if your mind is caught in its own cranks, wheels, gears, spinning in the same patterns for years that it once created. If you are caught in the whirling mind, these turbulent thoughts can make your life appear as if it is off course. It can feel like you are being tossed in many different directions, as your mind can throw out random, harsh thoughts at you like, hurry up, got to get going. Why did you say that? You don't have time for this. Get a real life. Why did you mess that up? Get back to work. What am I having for dinner? The mind can be rude, mean, and make you feel inadequate. It can take you down these roads of thinking that can make you think there is no happiness inside. Living in the mind is utterly, truly, and completely exhausting. There's a lot of people that do it. The majority of us live in the mind. Every day, 24/7. It's a good thing that there are many ways to get off. With each of these thoughts slamming into you, you may notice that you have the choice to react to them, or just watch them sail by. By reacting to all of the crazy mind chatter, you will be thrown back into the tornado of life. If you choose instead to sit back from your mind, become the observer, you will discover that you can create a comfortable distance from every thought that passes by. Finding this observer in you is where you become the master of the winds of your psyche. Set the intention right now to recognize the personal nature of your typical storm. You may notice what are the concerns, responsibilities, and fears created by your mind. How are they truly an illusion? There's really nothing that has to be done. You are connected with existence, and that is enough. You don't have to do anything or be someone special to continue to exist. Your mind may believe that something important needs to get done or else you will die. Yet this is the type of fear-based thinking that creates those 300-mile-an-hour winds and a hurricane lifestyle. Have you ever looked and observe yourself through this life, right? Have you ever looked at it? Have you ever sat in meditation and contemplation and looked at it? How many of us are truly in a whirlwind of a life? We really don't take in much around us because we're pointed in one direction, getting somewhere. And when you realize that your divine inner nature will always remain untouched, undamaged, and complete, believe this for 24 hours and see what happens. See, so no matter what happens in this chaotic outer world, your divine inner nature will always remain untouched, undamaged, and complete. Believe this for 24 hours and see what happens. And you no longer have to suffer in this storm. You can find the oasis of calm that lies at the middle of each moment. Now, the discovery is to learn how to quiet the mind and reconnect with your divine nature. How do you quiet the mind? You leave it alone. How can you leave the mind alone? By focusing on the now through the breath. When you really are in the now, you're watching things. You're not really participating. You're not participating in all those thoughts that the mind spews out. Really. You're watching them, but you're not interacting with them. But that's the only way, is to go within. Focus on the now. Remaining present to what is. And through meditation, the more you meditate, the more you realize that you are not your mind and that you are infinite and untouchable by any winds blowing around you. And people say, well, you practice meditation. What does that mean? What does practice meditation mean? Practice meditation means simply sitting in silence. That's it. Sitting in silence. Watching the crazy mind chatter as it comes and goes. And there's no judgment there. You're not judging yourself or anything. It is like sitting and watching the distant clouds move across the peaceful blue sky background. Your true eternal essence is the blue sky, and your thoughts are the clouds. And the more you observe these thoughts without buying into them or getting caught up in them, the more you detach and find this vast, infinite stillness inside of you. Over time, you will be able to recognize the stillness of getting caught in the mind and become truly freed from its grasp. It will be a glorious day when this civilization remains centered no matter what crazy storm is brewing around it. Now, many people, if and when you've tried meditation and it hasn't worked for you, then try a different way of meditating. Slow down whatever action you're doing and be more present to the experience. And there's so many ways to meditate. It's, it's being silent. You could eat and be silent, right? You could literally float off into the now and focus on deep gratitude and in the gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness with yourself. You could move right into that. You know how you know that? You know it because you know you're not thinking about anything. You really aren't. There's no thoughts. You're not interacting with any of the ego mind thoughts. Or anything for that matter. You're not worrying, stressing, fearing. You're not projecting into tomorrow or yesterday. You're only focused on the moment. What do you think would happen? Let's just say that the majority, not everyone, but let's say the majority of the planet meditated 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. They would start getting the answers to all of their questions throughout their whole lifetimes. But all of us have this, what is looking back at us? There's something looking back at us. Or you would, when you focus on it, you wouldn't have that feeling. You wouldn't. Most people don't because they don't think about it. They don't feel about it. It just passes by. But in order for you to look into a mirror, something has to be looking back at you. Really, truly. But what is it? What is that which is within you looking back at you? What's the God? Pure consciousness looking back at you. You could do exercise where you would, and you could create these on your own. But you could several times a day at random, every day, you could do this mind-stopping experience. Take a deep breath into your body. And it's okay to take a deep breath right now. And before you exhale, whisper the message, stop, in your mind. Release the breath. Let your body become solid and completely still like a stone statue. Let the breathing slow way down to where you may even stop breathing for a few moments and explore the stillness. Show the mind that you are the boss here, and let the frozen-like energy cease all physical activity inside. When the body finds stillness, the mind will soon follow. When the body finds stillness, the mind will soon follow. Just let everything come to complete halt and bring your attention inside on who or what is looking. Now, while it might take only 30 seconds or more to find the calm, present, eternal observer, these moments are worth the price of finding peace in the center of your cyclone. It may seem difficult to those who have just begun the journey, but it isn't difficult. There are certain markers, if you will, that we choose to engage. We engage gratitude 24/7. We make sure that we aren't critical of ourselves, that we don't judge ourselves, that we don't come down hard on ourselves, that we don't ridicule ourselves through gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. These are all choices that we make. And you have to at least be somewhat awake. And, judgment can get us in so many different deep, dark places. And why do we judge others? Because we see something in them that we don't like in ourselves. That's why we judge others. We see something in ourselves that we don't like, right? We see something in them that we don't like. It reminds us of parts of us that we don't like. So we judge. And I'll tell you, the ego mind is there zapping you, pushing you to make those judgments. For someone to be in deep gratitude, for instance, how many people do you believe on this planet at this time, in this moment, are in deep gratitude? Okay? Not once in a while, but all the time. Being in deep gratitude. And you don't run around telling people that, but you literally project it because that's how you feel in your heart mind of your deep gratitude. And no matter what happens, you're in deep gratitude, and it almost nearly, and does at times, eliminate and diffuse irritability, stress, anxiety, fear, worry, all the mind chatter. You're in deep gratitude. And you see, practicing, we all know that practice over and over and over and over and over again, it eventually ingrains itself. So we practice a lot of things that are not good for us, that we become in habit with. Why not practicing things that are phenomenally powerful and good for us? And see, some people believe that they need a reason to be grateful. But there really isn't a reason to be grateful. The fact is that you're grateful for everything and anything. And nothing. And the nice thing about it is that it's a phenomenal, incredible manifesting energy. And it allows us to tap into our own infinite creative energy where we cannot feel fear, scarcity, or doubt when we embrace gratitude as a way of being. We are living in this consciousness daily. And we've surrendered to knowing that we are already deeply, eternally loved with everything we need and are thankful for all that is. And from this place of being at one with all that is now, you become a massive magnet for attracting even more success, love, abundance, divine beings into your life. Now, take a few moments right now to imagine what your life would look like if you were constantly living from a place of gratitude all day long. How would it be? And of course, gratitude is a choice. We always have the choice to be grateful for what is, or not grateful for what is. We have the power to choose what kinds of thoughts and feelings we focus on and eventually manifest into our lives. We can choose to adopt an unending attitude of gratitude or remain strapped to the judgmental, fear-based merry-go-round of the mind. Choosing gratitude is choosing freedom and will make our lives easier than we could ever imagine. It will bring us such a vast experience of love that we will freely feel and experience our own soul. It's a way of living our daily lives, and it's like opening the door to a brilliant new world where the sun is always shining its warmth inside our hearts, whatever we are. We naturally feel the divine love and abundance that is inside of us and all around us. A heart that is brimming with gratitude does not allow the mind to be cluttered with ideas, opinions, and attachment to desires. It knows itself as the source of love itself. If you have trouble staying in touch with your heart's natural, grateful connection, you may have to let your mind or an inner judge attempt to squash this flame of love. The fire is not dead by any means. It just needs a little stirring. The heart that is forever thankful always breaks free from the ego's contracted thought patterns. Its natural warmth is always able to receive and give love freely. Gratitude is one of the most enlightening life experiences we can access at any time. We always feel lighter and less burdened by the end of the day. And when you practice directing this appreciation toward yourself, others, and this world, there is a natural de-armoring process that happens. You can start each day with shedding the protective armor around your heart and opening your heart to this divine feeling of appreciating everything. Anyone that you are not feeling gratitude, any time that you are not feeling gratitude, simply refocus on what you like, love, or appreciate about a situation. Simply focus on what you like, love, or appreciate about a situation. It is that simple. It is always within our reach. It is just a question of our focus and reining in our mind. Now, some of us have shields that are too thick around our hearts. Now, if that's the case, then become quiet enough inside yourself to get in touch with the core of your heart. Create some time to relax and be very, very, very still. This will help you dig beneath the shields, resistance, and wounding from the past. Use the breath as a vehicle to take you deeper inside so that you can go beneath this false protection. All armor is created for the ego, by the ego, and within the ego. It is all unnecessary weight, since the soul is like sunlight and does not need defending. Once this armor is released, you will naturally feel a lighter, warmer feeling inside. And a deep state of gratitude will surface and pour through you into this world. Now, taking off one's ego armor can be tricky. Any moment that your mind gets derailed and goes down the dark path of frustration, victim story, fear, or complaining, stop it immediately. Switch back to the gratitude track. It can be as easy as asking yourself, what's one thing that I am grateful for right now? The good news is that there is always at least one thing you can be grateful for, no matter what is happening in your life. Perhaps it's that you have the power to imagine a new you. your health, a good friend, or just that you are still breathing. When we leave these bodies, I don't, there's a lot of things that happen. And one of them is an NDE, near-death experience. But that's all prefabricated. It's all an illusion. Good illusion. It's tricked many of us. Now, whenever you cannot see the silver lining around the dark clouds in your life, simply open your heart, breathe deeply, and then think about as many things as you can to be grateful for. In each moment, there are so many incredible things that you can be grateful for, large and small. Just open your heart, relax, look at the bigger picture, and soon you will realize how truly, deeply, eternally loved you already are. What does it take? People ask. What does it take to live in a state of constant gratitude? It doesn't take work. It simply takes more awareness. Gratitude is our most natural way of being. When we are present, when we connect with our natural essence and pure consciousness within, we can see and feel the divinity within everything. This is not something strange that needs to be learned like judging cantaloupes. It's as easy as taking a fresh breath of air. So make it your number one priority this week, to be aware of gratitude. Notice how much it is already a part of your life and what it will feel like to bathe in it 24 hours a day. You see, we look at all of the stuff outside of us. We view it, and the brain goes to work, and then the mind, and we judge and evaluate it. And it's an illusion. And why does the illusion exist? Why? Because I've had this question asked to me several times. Why does the illusion exist? It's so real. I mean, we all of us, are living in an illusion. But if when you are entrenched in the evil mind, the mind's too small a vessel to understand or comprehend. And it's not necessarily where you could be feeling good, right? Just hopping along, going along. And then something changes. Some thought comes in, right? And for some reason, it catches you. And you start slipping down the slope in lower frequencies. Attitude, perspective, understanding. And why is that? Why is it that happens to us? Well, it's because we're being guided by the evil mind. If you ask yourself this question, in the event that you focus only on the now, okay, and you practice and practice, and it got to the point where you pretty much, not all the time, but much more frequently, that you would focus on the now. Through the breath. You would you would request to the universe when you were in the now what you desired or wanted and send it out. You wouldn't do it in ego mind. You wouldn't do it outside of the now. You wouldn't do it yesterday or tomorrow. You would do it only in the now. And there's when things happen, and none of us are exempt, but when things happen, it affects us. But when you're in the now, none of it affects you. Because you're not there. You're not in tomorrow. You're not in yesterday. You're only in the moment. Because anything that happens with you today will end up being yesterday. And anything that happens yesterday is done and gone. And we move forward, right? But the majority of us don't. We take things in. Ask yourself, throughout this life, there's ever been times where you got tripped up, so to speak? You were heavily attached to the ego mind, and you were heavily attached to things, getting attached, becoming attached to things, whatever they might be. It might be a person, might be a garage, it could be anything, getting attached. What do you think happens when we get attached? How many times have you been attached to something in your life? It could be anything. We suffer. All of us do. When we become attached, we suffer. Even though some of us realize that, well, you kind of know there's no reason for you to be attached to anything. Joy, embrace, experience, but don't attach yourself. You don't need to. We attach ourselves because we're in the ego mind, and our confidence, faith, and trust in ourselves and the universe are paramount. And see, because we don't have solid confidence, faith, and trust in ourselves, we are seduced and manipulated by the ego mind. Because ego mind causes doubt, guilt, fear. And this is, as I've said, we weave ourselves into a corner. How many of us, especially around this, what's happening outside of us right now, when you find yourself that you cannot see the silver lining around the dark clouds in your life, you simply open your heart, breathe deeply, and then think about as many things as you can to be grateful for. In each moment, there are so many incredible things that you can be grateful for, large and small. Just open your heart, relax, look at the bigger picture. Soon you will realize how truly, deeply, eternally loved you really are, and already are. It's us being aware. That's what it's about. It's about us choosing to be more aware. And many of us become so distracted, and it is a distraction. We become so distracted that we aren't aware. And then you find yourself judging yourself. You judge yourself. Then you say to yourself, I don't really care to do that. That doesn't, the energy that exudes is not good for me. How many of us do you believe are not concerned about what other people think? How many of us do you deep down, you are not concerned about what anybody thinks about you, says about you at all? It just bounces off. It doesn't even have a chance to become absorbed. When you do get to that level, that understanding with yourself, they could say anything to you, and it wouldn't affect you. Truly wouldn't. Not a faking it. Some people fake it, but I mean genuinely. Someone would say ridicule you or constructively criticize you or many different things, and you wouldn't have a response, see, because it wouldn't affect you. Then you're really free. That's how you'll know how truly free you are. Now, in this world, everything is exactly as it should be. All your personal problems, emotional blocks, and social issues are absolutely needed for your life to excel in a multidimensional way. Every imperfection you saw about yourself that you truly believed was imperfect has a cosmic agenda inside it to bring your soul to discover its divine totality. Everything has a purpose. Nothing is by chance. Nothing is coincidental. There is not one single thing in this all-intelligent universe that is not exactly the way it should be. And what would your day feel like, right? If you accepted that all the problems you're facing are perfect, precisely perfect, just the way they are. What if each challenge that you have in this life is exactly the way it needs to be for you to find total happiness in this lifetime? Every problem and emotional block has a deep spiritual purpose to propel us forward so that we evolve, grow, shift gears, and lighten the load we are carrying. Our problems are meant to empower us so that we get clearer about what we want and start manifesting that life we truly love. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. When we look beyond our physical existence, we'll soon discover the subtle realms and experience the infinite quality of our soul. Take a single glimpse into what is beyond this physical 3D world. It will reveal everything you need to know. Let something higher from the beyond enter you. For 5 seconds at least, 20 times randomly today. Allow yourself to feel the subtle energy inside your physical body. Tune into that emotional and super subtle energy you'll feel vibrating within your being. Get curious about what it is like and where it's coming from. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here tonight at 9 p.m., around there, Eastern, to continue our Time for Change call, and Thursday, June 8th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, and generous to yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude as much as you can, no matter what's going on around you.